Hello, good evening, students. So, today we are going to study an important topic from optics of class 12th, that is total internal reflection. It is having many applications, as you have studied in class 10th also, that rainbow formation is also having the application of total internal reflection. Two phenomena we studied there. One was refraction and another was total internal reflection. So today we are going to study this topic in detail, and later on we will see the applications of this TIR also, like optical fiber and Snell's window also. So to know about this total internal reflection, let's consider two cases. First case, I am considering that there are two media. One medium is denser medium, and the refractive index of this medium is, let's say, ND, and another medium is rarer medium having refractive index NR. Same thing here, but here I am writing and denser above and rarer below. And let me consider a light ray that is incident from denser medium to a rarer medium at some angle of incidence. Let me write I. So theoretically we know that as light ray is traveling from denser to rarer media, it should go away from the medium. That means this angle of refraction R should be greater than angle of incidence. That is the theoretical uh, concept that we have studied. Why this R is greater than I, that also we can see using Snell's law. You know that if I will write that ND into sin I, that will become equal to NR into sin R. So if you will see the value of sin R, then this sin R will become equal to ND by NR into sin I. So from this expression you can see that this sin R is equal to sin I multiplied by some coefficient, that is ND by NR. Okay, so for since this is a denser medium, so numerator is greater, denominator is lesser, so I know that this ND by NR is of course greater than 1, and if it is greater than 1, that will mean that this sin R is greater than sin I. And here you can see that maximum value of I, if I will write, what can be the I maximum? If light ray is incident here, then I will increase. Maximally, this light ray can incident along the boundary of the two media. In that case, I maximum will become 90°. So I can write that I maximum value is 90°. So of course, this R value can be greater than 90°, but I is always less than 90°. So since sine is an increasing function in acute angle like 0 to 90°, that means I can write what this R will also be greater than I, because this sine is an increasing function. So if sine R is greater than sine I, R will also be greater than I. Similarly here, if a light ray is incident from rarer medium to denser medium, so theoretically you already know that it will bend towards the normal like that, and that is angle of incidence I, that is angle of reflection R again. So this R is of course less than I. So when light is incident from rarer to denser, this refraction angle will always be less than I, but in this case this angle of refraction will be always greater than I. That means if I will increase, and in both the cases, that is first case and that is second case, for both cases, first and second case, according to Snell's law, I can write that this sin I is proportional to sin R. That also means that I is proportional to R. So if I will increase, that means this R will of course increase. So if I will start increasing I, let me incident this light ray at some larger angle I, that means this R will again become greater. So that, let me write that is I dash and that is R dash. That angle will be R dash, right? So if I will further increase I, what will happen? This R will again increase, right? Now this R will be somewhere here. Let me write this angle as I double dash, and that angle let me write as R double dash. That bigger angle, na? This one. So what can you conclude here? If I will start increasing I, then R will also increase. But in this case, in case first, if I will discuss the first case, for first case, this I increase, that means R will also increase, but this R is always greater than I. What does that mean? That if I am increasing I, which one will become 90 degree first, R or I? Because R is always greater. So if I is increasing, R is also increasing, but this R is always greater than I. That means I can write that this I, if I will approach 90 degree, so R will become 90 degree first, right? What does that mean? That means there will be some angle of incidence, right? Let me write this is angle of incidence, for which this angle of refraction will become 90 degree, right? That means this light ray will be refracted along the boundary of the two media. So in this case, what I can see that this angle for which the angle of refraction become 90 degree is nothing but that angle IC is called critical angle, right? What is happening here? If I am increasing angle of incidence, R is increasing, but R is increasing in such a way that R is always greater than I. That means this R will approach the 90 degree value first before I approaches. That means for when I is less than 90, R will become 90. So this particular angle of incidence for which angle of refraction becomes 90 degree is called critical angle. But in the another case, in case second, if we will talk about, that was the boundary, the light ray was incident from rarer medium to denser medium such that this R was always less than I. So if I am increasing I, R will increase here also, because for both the cases Snell's law is valid. That means if I am increasing I here also, R will also increase, but this R has to be always less than I. So when I is equal to 90 degree, when that means this R will be equal to, or R will be less than 90 degree, not equal to. So when I was at its peak value, I was at its maximum value, R was not even 90 degree. So what will happen because of this phenomena? Let's discuss in detail again. As you have seen that in case first, when I was equal to IC, critical angle, then I wrote that R is equal to 90 degree. So if I is greater than IC, what will happen in that case? This R should be greater than 90, because if you are increasing I, R will again increase. So that means R is greater than 90. What does that mean? That is critical angle IC, and that was the angle of refraction 90 degree. If angle of refraction has to be 90 degree, for what value of angle of incidence? For any angle that is greater than critical angle. So that means R has to be 90 degree, greater than 90 degree. Greater than 90 degree means that if the light is along the boundary, R is having the value 90 degree. If R is greater than 90 degree, that means this light ray has to travel back into the same medium, right? That you can see that now this angle is, R is of course greater than 90 degree. So in this case, what happened that instead of refraction, what we are observing, reflection is happening. Light ray is going incident at the boundary and coming back in the same medium. This property is called what? Reflection. But in that case, in case second, you can see that thing is not possible. Why? Because when I is at peak value, when I is equal to 90 degree, R was less than 90 degree. So R can never be greater than 90 degree. So here TIR is not possible. So here only TIR is possible. Okay. So what is the condition for TIR? From here you concluded that first condition, that light ray should be incident from denser medium to rarer media. Second condition, what should be the second condition? If I is less than IC, then R is of course less than 90 degree. Less than 90 degree means no TIR. As soon as I become greater than IC, what happens? TIR happens. So these are the two conditions for TIR that are necessary. First condition, what? Light ray is incident from denser to rarer media, right? Second condition, that this angle of incidence should be greater than IC. Now what should be the value of this IC for a particular pair of media? Let's calculate. That we will study relation between refractive index mu, or you can represent it by n, and this critical angle IC. So this TIR is happening only when light ray is incident from denser medium to rarer media, right? For an angle I greater than IC. But for I equal to IC, what was happening? Angle of refraction R was equal to 90 degree. If light ray is incident at an angle IC, then angle of refraction was 90 degree. That angle is IC. So if I want to calculate, if I want to find out the relation between these two, refractive index quantity and the angle of incidence, or critical angle basically. So what will I write? I can write that was the refractive index of denser media ND, and that was NR. So I can again write Snell's law that sine IC into refractive index of this medium is ND. That will give equal to sine 90 at I equal to IC, that R becomes 90 degree, sine 90 into NR. So that will give me that sine IC equal to NR by ND. So generally when TIR is happening, this rarer medium we are taking is nothing but air. So I will write it in terms of ND by NR. So let's reassemble this formula. That means 1 by sine IC will become equal to ND by NR. That will give me what? Cosec IC equal to ND by NR. That will give me again IC equal to cosec inverse ND by NR. If rarer medium is air, that means this NR will become equal to 1. So simply IC will reduce to cosec inverse refractive index of the denser medium. So that is the relation between critical angle and the refractive index of the two media. That is the relative refractive index of the two media. Now let's talk in this TIR, let's talk about angle of deviation. What is happening to the angle of deviation? For that also I will again take three cases. First case I will take when this I is less than IC. Then of course this light ray would be refracting in the another media with an angle of refraction R. So if there were no separation of the media, if it were the same media, this light ray would have gone through this path. Okay, but because of this boundary, this light ray has been deviated from this path to this path. That means this angle is called angle of deviation. That is the angle between the actual incident ray and the refracted ray. So if I want to calculate here delta, what should be the value of delta? As you can see in this figure clearly that this angle is I. So if you want to calculate this delta, you can subtract this small angle I from this bigger angle. That means this angle you will get, that means delta will get R minus I. Right? Now you tell me what will happen as I will increase. As I will increase, you know that R will also increase. But you have already seen that this sin R was equal to ND by NR into sin I. That means this R is this sin R is equal to sin I multiplied by a quantity which is greater than 1. That means if I will change angle of incidence I, then this change in delta R will be equal to some constant, and that constant is greater than 1 multiplied this change in I. That means this delta R, change in angle of refraction, is always greater than change in angle of incidence. So if you will increase angle of incidence, both angles will increase, R will also increase and I will also increase. But the problem is that this change in R is greater as compared to change in I. So let's say if R was initially, if I will write R was initially 30 degree and I was equal to 25 degree. Now I increased new angle I dash equal to, let me write 28 degree, and let me write this I has increased by 3 degree, but R will not increase by 3 degree. R will increase by a quantity that is greater than 3 degree. That say that this R will become equal to 35 degree. So if you will calculate new delta here, initially what was delta? 5 degree, 30 minus 25. But new delta if you will calculate R dash minus I dash, you will get 7 degree, 35 minus 28 degree. That means as you increase the I, angle of incidence, what happened to delta? Delta also increased. That is only the case when this angle of incidence is lesser than critical angle. What about the other cases? When it become equal to critical angle, what will happen then? Let me write this as case first and second case. When this I is equal to IC, then you can see that angle of refraction is 90 degree. So if there were no separation of the media, this light ray would have gone through this path, and this angle I would write as what angle? This angle I will write as I. Right? Now, if you want to calculate delta here, so how you calculate delta? What is the delta value? So this angle, if you will see, this angle is IC, that means this angle is also IC. So if you will calculate this delta value, that delta value will become this is the only delta, this smaller angle is only delta. So to calculate this angle, what you will do, you will measure this total angle, and from that total angle you will subtract this small angle. So that this total angle is 90 degree. So I can write it as that 90 minus IC. So that is the value of delta for angle of incidence equal to critical angle. Now let's discuss about the third case. So here also as IC will increase, this delta will increase. But if you fix the two medium, this IC is also fixed. IC equal to cosec inverse ND by NR. So if you are fixing two media, that means this IC is also fixed and delta is also fixed. So increasing I would have no effect for delta when I is equal to IC. But here increasing I will increase the delta up to the time this I is less than equal to I is less than IC. Now what about the third case when this I become greater than IC? That is some angle of incidence which is greater than critical angle, and this light ray would have been reflected back into the same medium. And what will be this angle? If it is undergoing reflection, it will follow the laws of reflection. That means angle of reflection is also equal to I. And again, that is the actual path of the incident ray. So now I have to find this angle, that is the angle of deviation delta. So what will be this angle if you will calculate? So if you will see the angle formed onto this straight line, this total angle if you will measure, this total angle is how much? 180 degree. But I have to find which angle? This delta angle. So what should be the value of this delta? So that angle, this small angle I plus I is equal to 2I. So if you will subtract this angle from 180, that means you will get delta. So delta I can write 180 minus 2I. So here delta is directly depending on I, and you can see if I will increase, what will happen? This delta will decrease because you have to subtract 2I from 180. So if the second term will increase, the delta will decrease. And how it is decreasing? If you will see this equation and you will compare it with y equal to mx plus c, and where y is what? Nothing but delta. So you can write it as minus 2I plus 180. So you can see that slope of this equation m value you can get equal to minus 2. That means of course this equation is a equation of a straight line. So this delta is decreasing here linearly, but in first case delta was increasing with I but not linearly, following some other path. So if I will plot the graph between delta and I, let's see what we get. Let's draw the graph for the first case when delta was less than IC. So that there you got the value of delta equal to R minus I for the first case. And I told you that if you will increase I, R will also increase, and change in R will be more than change in I. So delta will increase with I, but it will not increase linearly. What path it will follow? It will follow path like that. Up to what time it will increase? up to the time this I was becoming equal to IC, critical angle. As soon as I become equal to critical angle, there you got the value of delta as 90 minus IC, right? Right. So in this case, this value is 90 minus IC. Second case, in third case, you got the value of delta equal to how much? 180 minus 2I. So if I will see, if I will resemble this, what will I get if I will take 2 common? 90 minus I. So if I will increase I little bit more than IC by a small value, what will happen? That this delta is becoming almost double, 90 minus I. So when I was equal to IC, the delta value is 90 minus IC. As I increased I, this delta value is for I equal to IC. So as I increased I little bit from IC, what will happen? That this delta become almost double. So as I am moving little bit right in the x-axis, this delta value almost become double. How much double? This delta value become equal to 180 minus 2I. And then I further increased I, then what happened there? If I will increase this delta was decreasing linearly. So from this point, see, this 180 minus 2I is not for I equal to IC. That is for some value that is little bit greater than I equal to IC here. Here I got this value. So from this point, as you will increase I, this delta will increasing linearly. Like that. Got it? And when I will approach its maximum value equal to 90, then delta will become 0. This light ray would be going how? When I is equal to 90, that means light ray is incident along the boundary. That means I is also 90, R is also 90. In that case, delta will become 0. So as I is approaching 90 degree, delta is approaching 0.